Okay, once and for all, I am sick of hearing the prediction that Atlanta Falcons will win the Super Bowl. We're an hour away from the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that New England's going to win. I didn't say that. I just say, how could you possibly predict that Atlanta's going to win? If you're going to make a prediction, how could you not take New England? So let's get it straight. Let's go through both sides here. Let's say New England has the ball. Can you tell me what is there to make you believe that New England's going to score less than 30 points here? Really, what? They have passing attack. They have the running attack with Blunt. Now, Atlanta's defense, again, I'm not sure. Again, I can't say I've watched them as closely as I would have watched typically all 256 games of a year and watched their defense. But I know that they've given up lots of points in many games. Yeah, they got better in the second half with turnovers. They did have lots of sacks. They have a guy named Beasley. They do have some defensive components there, like causing turnovers and have a pass rush. And a pass rush does bother Brady. The Giants bothered Brady in Super Bowl 42 and 46 with a pass rush. Cameron Wake and the Dolphins have bothered Tom Brady with a pass rush. Denver last year in the championship game bothered Tom Brady with the pass rush. But this is not the Giants. Come on. You're going to tell me they're going to bother Brady in this game? They're going to get turnovers? Maybe. Again, if I think it's pretty safe to say New England's going to score 30 points. Okay, fine. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. When Atlanta has the ball, you say, well, Atlanta's offense has been fantastic. They've averaged almost 35 points a game. They had like how many games? 5 games with like over 40 points. They had over 8 games with over 35 points. They had even a few more with 30 points. They've had only scored under 21s all year against the Eagles. The offense is... But New England's defense, although not dominant, and you can't even name a lot of the players on the defense. That's how no-name defense they have. But they stop you, and you have Bill Belichick running the defense. So you're going to be surprised if there are times in the game where Matty Ryan gets flustered. Are you going to be surprised about that? Are you going to be surprised even if he had a bad game and threw a few picks? I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. Would you be surprised if they sacked him a few times? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Belichick comes up with ways to stop you, and they have a good red zone defense. Good red zone defense means that Atlanta may more often have to settle for field goals than the Patriots will have to settle for field goals. Now, again, not saying that Atlanta won't put up yards. It would be silly to say that they're going to completely shut down Atlanta, although I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I mean, but the most likely prediction is Atlanta in the 20s. So your basic score, just looking at New England when they have the ball and Atlanta when they have the ball, is New England in the 30s, Atlanta in the 20s. Now, that could be altered by the fact that there are long drives either way that takes away a lot of clock, and there's not enough time for that much scoring. So you don't expect 80-yard throws here and there. Brady's not the type to hit 80-yard throws. And I don't think New England's going to play a type of defense that allows Matty Ryan to go up 80-yard throws. I think they'll give Atlanta the run, and Atlanta will take that. Atlanta should take that with their combination, Freeman and Coleman, to take the running game and get yardage. So there'll be a lot of, I've heard this said, and I agree, there'll be a lot of yardage. You would think there'd be a lot of yardage between the 20s. Who will get the touchdowns, who will not, that will determine the game. But again, basic prediction, 30s to 20s. But I haven't gotten to the main thing, and that is the intangibles. That's where New England comes in and takes over this game. Intangible of having Bill Belichick as the coach. Who's more likely to come up with a flea flicker play that works? Who's more likely to come up with a fake punt that's gonna work? Who has more experience? That's an intangible in this game. You have coaching from Bill Belichick. You have the coaching element. You have the experience element. And don't say experience is not a factor. That's a big factor. The sprinklers went on. That was unexpected. I tell you, this is really low tech. The sprinklers are on. But intangibles definitely go New England's way. Super Bowl 36, Super Bowl 38, and Super Bowl 39, New England was a dynasty of intangibles. I say they weren't great in any way other than they were great in intangibles. Who's going to make the big play on a 4th down? I would expect New England. Who's going to come up with a gimmicky type of all of a sudden they'll come up with a no huddle that will work? New England. Who's going to come up with the fake punt, the special teams play? New England. You say, well, that's just some type of how could you prove that statistically? That's the whole point of an intangible. You cannot prove statistically. But they won 3 Super Bowls by 3 points. That was not an accident. That Super Bowl 36, they won by 3 points. Super Bowl 38, they won by 3 points. Super Bowl 39, they won by 3 points. And there were a couple of playoff games along the way. Let's say on their way to Super Bowl 38, they won over Tennessee by 3 points. They were 10-point underdogs to the Pittsburgh in the championship game on the way to Super Bowl 36 and scored a special teams score, a blocked field goal for a score, what was it? The special teams was a punt return by Troy Brown, a blocked field goal. It was unbelievable. They come up with different ways to win. That is not just, it's a perception. That is intangibles go their way, and in some way, whether they have fewer penalties or they'll make the big play or coaching, I expect New England in that way to win. When it comes to something that's not a statistic, they'll come up with the advantage in that area. So just throw that in along with the actual when New England has the ball and when Atlanta has the ball, throw that in. By the way, they slowed down in Super Bowl 36. They slowed down Kurt Warner, which is a better offense than this Matty Ryan offense. That was the greatest show on turf. Marshall Faulk by himself was better than any Freeman-Coleman combination. Kurt Warner is better than Matt Ryan. They had better receivers, even though maybe Julio Jones by himself is maybe better than any one of the 3 of the St. Louis's best show on turf. And yet New England got a pick 6 with Ty Law. They got another interception to let the points. They got a fumble, and they slowed down Kurt Warner till the fourth quarter when finally they put up 14 to tie it at 17, only to have Tom Brady. Listen to this other intangible. Tom Brady was not good back in those. It was not a great quarterback. He was a young and up-and-coming, solid, young and up-and-coming quarterback. And yet, with the game on the line tied at 17 in Super Bowl 36, John Madden said, they should play for overtime with a young quarterback. Remember, St. Louis had a much better defense than people think. That was an underrated defense. Yet, that's not how Belichick plays. And Belichick, again, an intangible. He gambles. He's correctly aggressive and was correctly aggressive there to first slowly come down the field and then make the big throw, get into field goal range to have Adam Vinatieri and their kicking game, another intangible they always had through their 36, 38, and 39, to kick the game-winning field goal there. Now, Gostkowski, I would say, is an advantage here over Matt Bryan, but again, Gostkowski, this is the first year actually that Gostkowski wasn't good, but who would you expect to make a bigger kick, Gostkowski or Bryant? I'm going to go with Gostkowski there in the kicking game, and there you go. Super Bowl 51, under an hour away. Take in New England, and no matter how you put it, New England, whether you go through it statistically, whether you go through it X's and O's, whether you go through it intangibles, you got to take New England here. It's starting to rain on me. The sprinklers are coming in here. I think I've given you a nice preview. I'm not picking a score. I mean, I would say New England anywhere between 30 and 40 points. Wouldn't be surprised if we got over 40. I would say Atlanta anywhere between 20 and 27 points, maybe as low as 17. And there's your Super Bowl 51 preview. A production, really low tech. But I think that was solid analysis. We gave you a little bit of history there. Didn't talk about Super Bowl. Belichick's the type of guy. Let's throw that in right here. Belichick's the type of guy that for many years switched from a defensive team winning Super Bowls 36, 38, and 39. Again, remember, Brady wasn't even that good for 36. He was becoming a star 38. Finally was a star in 39. But 39, Super Bowl 39 was their when they're out. But then they went to an offensive team with Moss and with Welker. Didn't win a Super Bowl. Could have won 2 more if not for a couple of breaks. If Gronk is healthy for 46. If they don't get a Tyree catch against them in 42, they could have won 6 Super Bowls. They finally had a defense that matched their 38 and 39 defense when they had Revis for Super Bowl 48, and indeed won Super Bowl 48. 49 with a great defense there. Bill Belichick, the best coach ever, and that's your wrap right there. I'm ending it right there. I'm running out of time anyway.